And I had this dream in August, and it was so strange. My missus is Reese negative blood type. My missus, and she's a bit of an handful, like, and but she likes the UFO story. And I had this dream in August. What was totally weird. I'm starting seeing beings now.
Okay.
I had this dream. I was asleep, and I'm still asleep. I'm still asleep here. I'm asleep, and there's some clicking in my ear, like that clicking. And I wake up, but I'm still dreaming. I wake up and I feel for my partner, my missus, and she's not there. So I get up out of bed. And I walk onto the landing, and I look across the landing to the back room, and she's looking out the window, and I can see her legs at the bottom of the curtain.
Okay.
And I walk over to her, and I say, "Come on back to bed," because she has some strange dreams herself. And I said, "Come on back to bed," and she's talking to something. She's talking to someone. The window's open. And I look down on the patio, and there's a being on the patio, some type of entity.
Okay.
And as soon as it sees me, it turns around and puts its back to me and walks to the bottom of the garden.
Wow.
And it's got like a diamond shaped back. It's not like a typical grey or a human being. It's got like a diamond shaped back.
Wow.
And I can see back, and it's squashed. I can see it looks like an insect, whatever that might be.
Okay.
And I tried shouting it, and in this dream, I tried shouting it. I tried to say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the words won't come out of my mouth.
Okay.
The words won't come out. So I was going,
Yeah, that's common. Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the same time, we both wake up at the same time in bed.
Wow.
And say, I'm having a bad dream. And she says, my partner says, I am too.
Same dream? Is she having the same dream?
No, she has dreams. She dreams a lot, my missus. She's seen stuff. My missus has seen UFOs. She has a dream. She's in darkness, and she can hear voices talking to each other, saying, "Shh, she's going to hear us. She's going to hear us. She's going to see us. Be quiet."
Okay.
That might be a common dream, but she wakes me up sometimes saying, "There's somebody over there in the corner. You better tell him to go." You know, and she's in a dream state.
Yeah.
And I said, "There's nobody there, darling. Go back to sleep. There's nobody there."
Fascinating.
But the dreams have a strange, very strange dreams, and that's despite seeing 20 odd UFOs every summer.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's all interconnected, isn't it? I think consciousness.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't you agree? Like in the 50s and 60s, we used to have, like, with Barney Hill and Betty Hill and that, and Travis Walton, and people getting dragged into spaceships.
Yeah.
I think that was what was happening at the time, wasn't it? As it moved on now, had he coming towards us when we're asleep?
Yeah.
Had he doing it on a quantum level, like coming into our brains when we're asleep, and I don't know, maybe communicating that way to their own advantage.
It seems like with yours, it's sort of progressing from sort of simple sightings to a little more complex dreams to beings. Do you think it's progressing where they're sort of maybe opening up to you and exposing you to more and more stuff now that you're trying to figure it out?
Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah, because I've seen another being as well. I've seen quite a few, and I've seen a guy in my dreams again. And these dead real. These dreams, they're not like mumble jumbled. They're really real dreams. They feel real,
like lucid dreams, correct?
Yeah, like lucid. Yeah, lucid
dreams. Okay.
Yeah. And I've seen this guy in my house. I've been in my living room here, and I'm dreaming, and I walk in the patio, and there's a guy stood here, and he's blue, and he's got high cheekbones, and he's got a thick blue headband on his head, a big thick blue headband, and he's blue, and he walked through me. I think that's the strangest one I've had. He exploded into 1,000 pieces and walked through me, and then reassembled on the other side. and
Wow.
walked off outside my house.
Wow.
And I woke up after that. That woke me up, because he exploded in light into 1,000,000 pixels, and the light went through me, and I looked round at it, and he reformed and walked out my house.
Wow.
And there's strange dreams, but I think I've never really dreamt about beings much.
Yeah.
Or
Are all the beings different? Like, has every dream got a different being, or is there some that are the same being appears?
I've only seen two. I've seen that like insect type in my back garden,
Okay. Yeah.
and I've seen that guy in my house.
Okay.
That the blue guy. I've seen him as well.
Has your wife got any recollections of seeing beings in dreams or otherwise?
She hears voices, but she doesn't write. She won't open up and tell me about them properly.
Yeah.
She just passes them off as dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a dream, but she has a lot of them. Some nights she's climbing over me to get out of bed because she thinks somebody's in the corner of the room. No, it's just
Okay.
just pretty strange.
Have you got children?
Yeah, I've got a daughter, 15. Yeah.
Anything happening there? Has she got any experiences?
No, she doesn't have any experiences.
Okay.
I tried to talk to her about UFOs, but she's only 15, so it's really hard for her to comprehend. She thinks I'm a bit mad. She's not really. She doesn't really. She's not really took to UFOs.
But she hasn't had any bizarre. Like the other question I'd have for you: is there any other bizarre stuff that's happening that sometimes you might not relate to UFOs, like poltergeist activity or bizarre stuff happening in the house or anything like that?
No, there's none of that. No, there's none of that. It seems like it's already. If it's anything, it's already latched onto me. It's not like no. There's no ghosts. No, none like that.
No synchronicities, events with synchronicity, bizarre things where you sort of wonder how did that happen, or like, I guess they would call them synchronicities.
Yeah, I have a bit of that. Yeah, I do have a bit of that. Yeah, I can tell what my missus is going to say to me sometimes before she says it.
Okay.
Partway through a sentence, and I can finish the sentence before she said it. Not that she repeats herself a lot. It's not in that.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm feeling that I'm finishing the sentences for her a lot.
So what do you think is going on? What do you think they're trying to do with you? Do you think you have a mission? Do you think you have something you're supposed to do?
It's not quite clear, Grant, what if there's a mission. Well, it doesn't alarm me, but what draws my attention is that I've seen so many of these craft, and I've tended for show them to people, and I'm just trying to wonder why I'm seeing them. Yeah. Can I be that lucky? Could I be that lucky that I can be happening for drop on say something that's looking at the neighbourhood? Could I be that lucky for see everything what's looking at the neighbourhood? You know, because these sightings have gone on for like 12 years now, 12, 13 years since 2005, something like that. 12, 13 years it's going on for.
But you have the missing time experience back 30 years ago. So, I mean, if it's like the classic thing, you may have been on board, you may have been, in 4 hours, a lot of stuff can happen. Where it's almost like you've been picked, that it's not that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time or the right place. It's almost like they're attracted to you, that there's sort of like.
That's what the guys think. That's what the guys think at the website. They think I'm a bit spooky, like they think they're attracted to me.
Yeah. It would make sense. And the other fellows that were in the car, you don't know whether they had any sightings or anything after that, or you really haven't talked to them. But in terms of
it didn't really cross our minds. I was already into flying saucers at that time, but we was young. We were 17 and 18. Thought bother. For keep asking them, have you remembered anything or anything like that? I would have looked a bit because people, if you don't know about this subject, you're pretty blind to it, aren't you? People's opinions are very
sure.
They're very unforgiving. They're very unforgiving if they don't know anything about flying saucers. They don't know anything about it. Where we know the history is massive. So. But I'm just trying to wonder why I get to see them. That's all. I just think it's a bit more than something normal. I'm being lucky and seeing some of the. I've got all type of watching gear. I've got massive binoculars, and I've seen them up close. I've seen them. And it's got me. It's really got me. But it's not. But when I go out and look for them, it's not a case of, will I see one? I know I'm going to see something. I know I'll see something. You know. And
okay.
I try to film it.
And what kind of reaction have you gotten from the films when you show them to people?
People like them.
Yeah.
But no, I don't show them to people who won't appreciate them, because I've been through all that. I've tried to talk to people about.
You're right.
I've tried to talk to people about UFOs, and some people just can't fathom it. They can't understand it. So the mechanisms all say, "Oh, it's not real. We don't believe it. It's not real." That, you know, people won't believe it, will they? And I think that's what's holding a lot of this back. Is really, I think the world could do with a wake up call on a large scale, mate. And there again, I think 40% of the population won't even realise what's happened. You know, if it was so, you know, the way it is. Yeah. It's only people like, it's only researchers like yourself who understand how it goes and how it has to be handled. But to a normal person, it just doesn't compute, does it?
Wow.
You know?
Do they make it easy for you to film? Are you able to, you know, sort of just, is it like they're trying to help you film or something like that?
Well, I have a lot of distractions sometimes. Like I've been filming for a while, and I've usually had the children around me, and they're messing about in the yard, so it's not really been as personal as I'd like it to be.
Yeah,
I've tried to talk to it and ask it to come closer and stuff like that. You know, the phenomena, but. Other than that, I found that sometimes there's a lot of people that, like family-wise, who just want to talk and get on and they're on the film and they don't like it, you know, and stuff like that. Where you want to be quiet and get it, but being in the household that I am, and I've had children down the years and they've been growing up. I've had children around me and stuff like that. So, but that's it really. But I've seen stuff. I have seen nighttime stuff. I have seen nighttime stuff as well.
And how close have they gotten on film? How close are they? Do they move in, or are they?
I have them right over my head, just below cloud level sometimes, wow. And they're pretty big. Wow. I've had them right over my head, and sometimes they're all at the same distance away. Sometimes they always seem to be at the same distance away from me as well.
Is this one object, or do they come in groups?
I've seen. It's usually one. Some are just gone. I was in my back garden, and I had my camera out and I was looking, and quite far away, about a quarter of a mile away, I seen two of them, and one was still, and the other one was going up and down behind it. They're like pearls. They're like pearls.
Okay.
And next minute, the one behind it disappears. And I look to my right, and there's a plane going past my house, and it's behind a plane.
Wow.
And no word of a lie, and it moves, and it skips, and it flashes about 5 times, and then it's gone.
Wow.
Just really strange. Just really strange stuff. And I try to talk to him before get him to come closer, you know, in my head and stuff like that, and try and project me thoughts.
And that hasn't worked in terms of that kind of consciousness thing?
Yeah, it's worked. Like, yeah, I've still seen a good few bits and bobs. I've seen quite a lot of stuff, and I just can't fathom why I'm seeing it. Really, I can't see. I don't understand why I'm privy to it. To seeing it all the time.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of different stuff as well.
Different stuff, like in terms of what?
Like different shape craft.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of different shape craft.
Wow.
I seem to talk to them and they show up.
Yeah, it seems like they have some interest. You've never thought of regression to try to open it up?
Well, that's another thing. I don't know any regressionists in England.
Okay.
America's massive. There's a lot of like-minded people like us in America, and it's a lot further down the road. The whole subject's a lot further down the road than I think it is in Britain, at least. You get a couple. There's researchers and there's researchers who want to sell books, and there's researchers who. But I don't know any. I'd love to get regressed. I really would.
Yeah,
I really would love to get regressed.
I might be able to help you with that. In terms of, because they're opening up. And then the other thing is people will do is what you've already tried to do is you just sit there and you try to quiet your mind and make
quiet my mind. Yeah.
You open yourself up.
Yeah,
sometimes if you have that, then the pieces start to fit in, because it's the fear that sort of maybe breaks down that communication, that once you open yourself up, and it does appear, like I think we discussed this already, that it does appear that the phenomena is sort of accelerating because you didn't have beings before, and now you've got the beings, and you have the dead people, which people will describe, connected to this. It's almost the idea with consciousness. It's not just UFOs. It's, dead people, near-death experiences, ghosts, and all this stuff seems to be in the same category.
Goes hand in hand. Yeah, I believe it goes hand in hand. Yeah, I think it does go hand in hand. I think it's all connected a little bit. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm just trying to get further down the road, and I've got a few books.
Yeah.
What I'm plowing through. Russell Tagg. We've got Russell Tagg. Paul Smith.
Yeah.
Remote Viewer. I've got a few books. Ingo Swan, Penetration.
Okay.
I've got Managing Magic.
Good. Okay.
Have you heard of Managing Magic?
Yeah, that was my book, Managing Magic.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah. And
it's still on my shelf.
Yeah. And I have some other ones I can send you, digital copies, like Inspired, where I talk a lot about consciousness. The whole book is about consciousness and about remote viewing and musicians and artists and all this bizarre things where people are sort of, I call it disassociating. It's the ability to dissociate, to shut down the little voice in your head. And when you dissociate, you pop into that world. Almost like, I don't know if you've ever listened to Bashar. Bashar is an alien channeler. He's very, very interesting to watch. And Bashar says, and he claims to be this alien from 500 years in the future or whatever. And he says, we come to you in your dreams because now you're in our world. And that makes sense when you start looking at it that way. It's sort of like, because your conscious mind is what I think blocks the whole thing. And that people who are, for example, how many musicians are UFO experiencers? And that's because musicians are very right-brained. They're very creative. I don't know if you're creative, what you do for a living, whether you're able to do art or music. A lot of
I love music.
Yeah. Contactees are usually very creative.
Yeah, I love music. I only drive a wagon. I drive for Asda. It's called. It's part of the Walmart family.
Oh, okay.
It's Walmart in Britain. It's called Asda. So I drive for them. I've been driving for them for 15 years.
Wow, I knew a guy. I got a guy from Winnipeg, from where I am, who's going back to Britain. He was driving for them as well, and he may be coming back. It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I drive for them. I've been with them for 15 years. It's a good job. I like it. But like in terms like this in your country, I think it's a lot more down the road. Like there's people like you, and you're more into your conscious stuff now. You've been doing it a lot of time, haven't you? I did watch one of your videos with was it Steve Boucher?
Oh yes.
And he could see his veins in his arms.
Yes. With the advanced technology where they're showing it to him and also to Susie Hansen saw the same technology where they.
Yes, from New Zealand.
Have you seen the one I did with Tony from outside of London?
I have, yeah.
See, Tony's like you. He's sort of like, he really doesn't know what's going on. He's filming. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to sort of put this into his life. And it's kind of interesting that your story is very similar to Tony's in terms of how many films you're taking and And maybe that's part of the disclosure, that they want you to take these films to sort of, climatize people, to get people used to the fact that people are filming this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There has to be some reason why they're in contact. So,
yeah. I written to the Ministry of Defence in 2009.
Okay.
When it was at Ludlow Manor, I written to them, and I got the usual rundown that they don't do it anymore and stuff like that. And I think it closed in 2010. Ludlow Manor, where they generate all the UFO reports from around England and that. I've written to them. I've still got the letter, actually. It's in my book over there. It's in one of my books. But I believe in UFOs, but I want to know what they are, Grant. I want to know what they are. So I think we should put pressure on. I had to write to them and ask them, because I think they should know that these observations are happening.
Yeah. Well, I think you're helping to contribute. I think you're helping to contribute to the general knowledge. And once we put this out, people will, I think, will be helped by hearing your story and realizing it's the old thing. Like, because you think you're alone, you think you're the only one seeing them, and the more people that come out and describe basically the same story, that everybody's telling the same story, they may not have the answers, but the more you raise the consciousness to the fact that this is going on, the more people are open to the fact that it's there. What are you planning to do in the future? Are you planning to just keep doing what you're doing, do more reading, more photographing?
I'll be doing more filming this summer. This summer I've had the sightings that I've experienced this summer have been the strongest yet. They've been the closest sightings that I've seen. But don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get an urge not to film.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
So when I first started seeing this stuff in 2005, I was like, what's that? What's that? I have to film that. I have to get that on camera. And then a lot of time I feel like I'm leave it. You don't need to film that. Just leave it. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's how it works. They said that about the using with remote viewing and stuff like that. Am I correct? He said you can't do it all the time. You have to use it in short bursts. And have you heard that, Grant?
Yeah,
that it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I contributed to some around that area that it might be working, but you can't do it all the time, and just a bits and bobs what I'm picking up, just bits of information. And I've read books and that lot. So Tony Binns, did he come out to America to see you there?
I'm not sure whether I talked to him or not. I mean, I may have. Tony, yeah. Tony went to, I saw him in Laughlin.
Did he come out to Laughlin to see you there, didn't he?
Yes. And it was kind of bizarre where, he had the film, which I wasn't really sort of interested in. I was more interested in, are you getting messages, this sort of thing. And then he had a lot of the message stuff. And then he went back to the Great Britain. And I haven't talked to him too much. I just sort of said, well, keep doing what you're doing. Be sure sometimes, when your story becomes public, you sort of start seeing things that maybe you're not seeing. And, you get too excited about the thing. Just sort of calm down. So, yeah, I've had contact with him. And there's actually a number of people like Steve Mira and Annalisa and a bunch of people that come to America for these conferences. There's a whole group of British people. So I've gotten to know them fairly well, and I've been in Britain a couple of times. And
I've seen your Steve Mera video. Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, that's good. That one.
Yeah. So
I've seen him. But I particularly like that guy, that Steve Boucher. I like him. He was very, very quiet. He was a very quiet speaker, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
I
liked his
he's very believable. Very believable.
Yeah. And when that happened in 72, didn't it? Did that happen in 72? That with him?
72, yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
And that's when the whole thing was it was a lot more physical, wasn't it? Then,
that's
people
right.
was getting stopped. people was getting dragged in ships and that. And I think it's all changed. I think they're doing it on a quantum level.
You've been listening to The Cameron Files with Grant Cameron. Any rebroadcast or duplication of this program or program content without express written permission from Grant Cameron himself or the KGRADB is strictly prohibited. The Cameron Files, in direct cooperation with the internet website BeyondPresidentialUFO.com.